Welcome back to Alive at 5. I'm your host, David Leonard, and it's my pleasure to welcome the program here this afternoon, Sean H. Worthington. Sean is the author of a book entitled Beyond Bitcoin, the Future of Digital Currency. He's also the creator of a cryptocurrency called CloudCoin. And I wanted him to come on the program with me here today and spend some time discussing with me cryptocurrency in general, CloudCoin in particular, and why this may be very interesting to people, especially if you're concerned about your money. And I think that just about all of us probably fit into that category. Sean, welcome aboard. It's a pleasure to spend some time with you here today.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Here at the beginning, for a listener out there that may not be familiar with you, if you'd be so kind, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Sean Worthington?
Sure. I'm a tenured faculty member in the computer science department at Butte College in Northern California, and I'm a candidate for a PhD in computer information systems. I'm all but dissertation, and I've got a patent pending on a counterfeit detection system, which is called the redundant array of independent detection agents, and it basically does what the Bitcoin's blockchain does, only much better. And instead of publishing my dissertation, I decided to go ahead and just make it happen. And so for the past year, I've been implementing a new currency called CloudCoin. And I just wrote a book to talk about that. And now I'm sharing it with the world.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, just first of all, let's talk about cryptocurrencies in general, Bitcoin. For a listener out there that perhaps has heard about this stuff, maybe they saw something, somebody from, J.P. Morgan or somebody made headlines recently talking about Bitcoin, and so maybe they've seen that story, but they're really not familiar with it. Fill me in. What are we talking about here today?
Well, Bitcoin has made a big impact, especially with people who are libertarians, who don't like government, who want freedom, because Bitcoin allows you to buy things from your computer just like you're buying with cash. There's no bank charges, there's no taxes, there's no tariffs, there's no rules. It's private. There's no chargebacks, and you don't have to worry about government inflation. A lot of people are worried about the dollar being inflated and changing. And now the people who get their paychecks and put it into Bitcoin, they're seeing that at the end of the month, their value of their money goes up. And so there's a big, giant surge of value that's happening with digital currencies, and people are making millions of dollars. So it's becoming very interesting to everybody.
Well, and certainly you're making a great point there, because just recently the price has fallen back some, but here recently Bitcoin was up over $5,800, getting close to $6,000 per coin. And so, yes, certainly there is definitely a lot of money being involved in these things these days. But I'm curious about something, because a lot of people, when they hear about cryptocurrency, about digital currency, they're instantly put off by it, because it's not like a dollar bill you can hold in your hand that says it's backed up by the Federal Reserve, and it's not like a piece of gold or silver that you can also hold in your hand. It's computer code, essentially.
Right. And so that's because people don't really understand what money is. And this is the revelation that I made, and that is that monetary systems are information systems, and money is data. And it's a physical representation of data. And, of course, when you hear the word data, you might not know what the heck it is. Well, that means. But basically, in an information system, you have to represent the trueness of the universe. And if you have good data, that data has integrity, which means it's true, and you can use it to track everybody's counts. And so the value of money doesn't come from what it's made out of, whether it's paper or gold or silver or even electronic information that's been encrypted. What it comes from is its integrity as data. So myself, I've studied this in depth, studying databases. And so I realized that we could take all the rules that we apply to data and information systems and create a monetary system out of it, following all of those rules, and we could create the perfect money, and that's what CloudCoin is. And Bitcoin has some of that in that it's got physical integrity. It's the first currency to solve the physical integrity problem, and that allows us to have a digital money.
You say that CloudCoin is perfect money. And therefore, it must be an improvement on Bitcoin. I mean, that's the title of your book, Beyond Bitcoin, The Future of Digital Currency.
Yeah, that's right. So imagine the perfect currency. You could imagine a currency that can never be stolen, that cannot be lost, that can be transferred anywhere in the world in milliseconds, that can be spent day or night, that there's no bank fees, that there's no chargebacks. You could think of all kinds of things that would make the perfect currency. And that's what CloudCoin is, starting with the fact that it's the first currency in human history that can't be counterfeited. So really, counterfeiting is one of the essential things about money. If people can counterfeit money, then it's not money at all. And so the amount of cloud coins is fixed, where dollar bills, or the Federal Reserve notes, can be printed up and are printed up. And gold and silver can also be dug out of mines. And in fact, Bitcoins themselves can be counterfeited in a sense that they can be mined and new Bitcoins can come into existence. So it's just an example.
Tell me a little bit about how the idea for CloudCoin formed and the work that you've done on it to get it launched. As I understood it, it actually launched back in March, didn't it?
That's right. And so I've been working on it since last June when I had the idea. And really, I was working on my dissertation doing object recognition and counterfeit detection systems, where I was trying to create basically, if you took a picture of somebody holding a dollar bill, it would be able to recognize what denomination that dollar bill was, whether it was 100 or a 50 or what have you. And when I realized that monetary systems are just information systems, what that does, it allows us to apply some normative rules. I mean, we can make some scientific rules about how money should be. And this is, economists don't do this. They don't have any kind of theory about what is perfect money. And so that is a big breakthrough. And I started studying things and applying those rules and doing experiments. And we needed to create a counterfeit detection system. So with a Bitcoin, their system is all about tracking transactions, making sure that there's no unauthorized transactions, that everybody knows what transactions happen, so everybody knows who has what money. But with CloudCoin, it's all about detecting counterfeits. You don't have to create any accounts. You don't track any transactions. You just check to see if the money is real. So it's a whole different paradigm.
Is Bitcoin able to be counterfeited?
So with counterfeiting of Bitcoins, it's actually designed so that you've got these people called miners. They really could be called system administrators because their job is to keep the computers up and going. And the computers are there encrypting, decrypting, trying to hash these blockchains. But if a miner does enough work, they're allowed to create a new Bitcoin. And so that is a way of counterfeiting. Otherwise, it's impossible to counterfeit a Bitcoin.
As I understand it, now CloudCoin, I mean, you can get a flavor of this, I guess, just from looking at the name. It relies not on cryptography as other cryptocurrencies generally do. It relies on the cloud for its anonymity and for its privacy, for its anti-counterfeiting aspects. Fill me in about that, because it seems to me that, Sean, that's really one of the most innovative things that you've been working on in this project.
Yeah, so for a currency, any currency, whether it's digital or not, to be real, it's got to have physical integrity, meaning that it cannot be just created or destroyed. And in fact, the worst kind of money that you could ever have would be ice cubes, because everybody could create them in their freezer, and then they would just disappear once you brought them out on the street. With gold, if you want to have gold coins, you could track everybody's work and what they're doing, and it would take more work to go out and counterfeit a gold coin, because you have to find a gold mine and you have to mine it, and be so much work that it wouldn't be worth it. But with digital currencies like Bitcoin, you've got to spend a lot of time doing processing, encrypting, decrypting, and it is also not worth it. It's very expensive and requires a lot of electricity. With CloudCoin, we've got a new concept where we're using the redundancy of the cloud, and we've got all of these cloud clusters around, and they all hold a little piece of the CloudCoin as password, because basically the CloudCoin has 25 different passwords, and they all hold one of them. And if one of these goes down, they can be recreated, and they trust each other, and they can rebuild and self-heal. And so it creates a system that is a lot like our DNS system, which is what we use to resolve domain names to IP addresses. That's very technical. But we use it every day, and it's never gone down since it's been up in 1985, and we just kind of take the same technology and apply it towards counterfeit detection. And it works extremely well.
In terms of the servers that you're accessing, I guess, I'm a little bit curious, because one of the concerns that I know that has been voiced by some people regarding storing information in the cloud is that it is far from private, because whoever controls that server can essentially access your information. And there's been certain cryptocurrency projects, CloudCoin is the first one that comes to my mind, where what they're attempting to do is to decentralize the cloud and therefore add that element of privacy and anonymity. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, what I'm curious about here, Sean, is with CloudCoin, your servers, how safe are they? How secure are they?
Well, the way that we've handled this, and this is a novel way that we handle it, we're actually going to apply this to a whole bunch of different technologies, including we want to create our own Facebook and YouTube. But right now, what happens is that all the data is in the CloudCoin, and then the data is shredded, and it's sent out all over to different Raida, which are different cloud cluster servers. Each one of these Raidas is controlled by a different person or a different company in a different country, in a different jurisdiction. And even if they look at their own data and they go into the database and look at it, they can't make sense of it because it's shredded. It's only a 1/25th of the entire big picture. And so in order to somehow get some usable data out of it, they would have to collaborate with all the other 25 Raida administrators to do that. And that is just something that's not going to happen. And so basically, instead of using encryption, we use shredding. You just shred the heck out of the data. Something new.
One of the things I was curious about, too, as I was researching ahead of this interview, was there are a number of altcoins already, cryptocurrencies, alternative coins in existence that profess to be privacy is their real goal. I mean, Monero, Pivx, Vergecoin, all these things, that's really what they're after, is they want people to be able to transmit their funds completely privately, completely anonymously. Mm-hmm. Tell me about CloudCoin. I mean, if we have these other ones, why should we be interested in CloudCoin?
Well, so any kind of technology that's based on the blockchain requires that you have an address on that blockchain, on that public ledger. Everybody can download the public ledger and look at it. And so if somebody gets your account number, they can then look and see every transaction that you've ever done, because the transactions are all tracked. That's what the blockchain does. But with our system, the counterfeit detection system, we don't worry about transactions. We don't track that at all. And in fact, you don't have to open an account to use it. So if I sent you a CloudCoin via email, you don't have to go start an account to use it. All you have to do is use some software to authenticate that CloudCoin, change all its passwords so that only you know them, and then it's yours. And then you can give it to somebody else or buy something else with it. And so our system, there is no data that is trackable, whereas the blockchain, that's the whole thing. They have to track everybody's transactions in order for the system to work. It's a big difference.
I'm visiting this afternoon with Sean H. Worthington. Sean is the author of a book entitled Beyond Bitcoin, The Future of Digital Currency. One of the things I wanted to ask you about today, Sean, because as I said, I did some research on CloudCoin ahead of this interview, and I went to your website, and essentially I undertook the task of doing what I would basically fundamental analysis of CloudCoin. And I don't claim to be an expert, and I will say right now, none of this conversation is meant as any sort of investment advice. If people are interested in this, you need to do what I do. You need to go do your own research. You need to make up your own mind. That's all there is to that. But as I said, I went to the website and I took a look around, and there were some things that I thought were really pretty good. The first thing is when you go to your website, the CloudCoin website, there is an explanation there that I think just about anybody can understand. And to me, that is a critical aspect of this, because if you're trying to communicate with the public what it is that you're doing, but it's loaded up with technical jargon that only a computer guru can figure out, that's not very good marketing on your part. So I give you a big plus on that.
Well, thanks.
One of the other things, too, is I looked at your team, and you have a large team. And a lot of these people have a lot of experience in different fields, and that, I think, is a critical thing for the success of a burgeoning cryptocurrency, if you will, because let's face it, in this particular case, the more cooks you have, chances are your broth is going to be better in the end. There was one thing, though, that did cause me a little bit of pause, and I wanted to ask you about this, is that a number of your team members are listed there, but they are anonymous. Why did you feel the need to maintain anonymity for these folks?
So we are dealing with the legal issues about this. And unfortunately, one of the things that we didn't have the ability to do is to check with lawyers with every country that we're going into. And we're just starting now to have the resources to do that and to check the legality. And there is, but I have a feeling that we're going to, as we go through with this, we're going to see them come forward. And we also believe that this technology is going to be highly disruptive, and we could imagine governments like the Chinese government, the Iranian government, the Venezuelan government, who are really not going to like this, because this is going to undermine their ability to control people by controlling the currency. And so there could be some backlash, and we just don't want to expose our system administrators to that right now. But they are real people, and we do make them available to interview and to contact if necessary.
Another thing that I looked at very closely was your level of interaction on social media. And I found a Facebook page, I saw a Twitter feed, but I went to Reddit, which is a great source for information on cryptocurrencies in general, and I didn't find hardly anything on Reddit about CloudCoin. Can you tell me why, I guess, you folks have neglected that or decided not to get involved on Reddit?
Well, so I guess nobody in our team is interested in Reddit, but we do have some people that are in Spanish. And so I think there's some Spanish articles on there, and we have some Colombians and some Venezuelans that have done some stuff there. But so I guess you could say that we're computer scientists, and we're not social media people, and we're not trying to hire any folks to go out and hype us. So I guess it just hasn't happened organically. Well, and hopefully it will sometime.
Well, and that's a fair response. But I think you would have to agree with me that marketing in general is going to have to be a priority for your project in order for you to achieve adoption and usage.
Absolutely. But even more important than that is making sure that we've got all of our software going and that everything works perfectly good. And we've just basically been able to make it so that everything's working perfect. And we're now getting the software that allows people to sell things on their websites with CloudCoins and to accept CloudCoins into the application, because CloudCoins are the only digital currency that can actually be imported into applications. And also, we're building an exchange. And so really we're just getting ready to go big time, and we haven't worried about marketing because we knew that once the time came, we could concentrate on that, and now we're starting to worry about that.
Tell me about usage and adoption, Sean. Where are you at with that? Are people actually getting CloudCoin and spending it?
Well, because it is the most private currency ever, we can only see on our servers how much of it is being authenticated, and that we assume is people trading it back and forth. And yes, it is being traded back and forth massively. We expect it to grow and grow and grow. We started in when we released in March. We didn't actually release to the whole world. We just released into Russia, having a small little press release there, getting things working. Then we released in Serbia, and now we're releasing in America. So we're just kind of growing.
What cryptocurrency exchanges is CloudCoin currently listed on?
Well, that's, an issue that we have is that since our technology is so different, it doesn't work with exchanges, the current crypto exchanges. And so we've just had to build our own software that now we can give it to the exchanges and hopefully they'll use it. And we've also had to create our own exchanges. So that's been a stumbling block, but it's one that we're overcoming. And we've found investors who have raised money and they are going to buy an exchange. So that's all coming. But the exchange has been something that we were looking forward to having.
If a person wanted to obtain some CloudCoin, I guess, how do they go about doing that?
Well, probably the easiest way is just Googling buy CloudCoin, and CloudCoin is one word, and they'll find different websites. But if they want to play around with it, we do have a offer that's being offered by one of our marketing companies, and they're giving away 5 CloudCoins to whoever signs up for my book. And actually, they're giving away the book as well. So you can get a free copy of my book with 5 CloudCoins. And you just need to go to their website, and their website is the digitalfrontiernews.com. So digitalfrontiernews.com. And they can just give us their email address to get a free book and 5 free CloudCoins that they can experiment with.
Now, I cannot, because I'm not a computer guru in any sense, Sean. I cannot imagine all the work, all the different aspects that go into having to create a project like this and move it forward. What do you see as the biggest challenges for CloudCoin, say, in the next 6 months to a year?
The biggest challenge for CloudCoin will be going against these 900 digital currencies that are already on the market. And so to do that, we have to prove that we're much better, that we're much easier to use, much easier to obtain, that we make sense, and that we're scalable and we can take on the entire global currency. And that means that we have to have systems that make it easy for people to accept CloudCoins on their websites. We need to have exchanges where it could be exchanged openly. So that's a liquidity issue, and we're working on that. And I think that once we solve the liquidity issues, CloudCoin is going to dominate because it's simply the best. There's just everybody that's going to try it is going to like it, and they're going to want to keep using it.
Now, I can imagine somebody listening to our conversation here today could be very well thinking to themselves, well, yeah, okay, cryptocurrency, I've heard of Bitcoin, but you know what, this really sounds like some kind of technological voodoo to me. I don't know about any of this. Why should the average person on the street, why should they care about CloudCoin? Why should they care about cryptocurrencies in general?
Well, so like I said, monetary systems are information systems, and in fact, our monetary system, the Federal Reserve, is being hacked. And that might sound crazy, but there's people that are getting dollars that aren't necessarily working for them. Those people come in 2 directions. One, it's from some very intelligent people that have figured out how to work the banking system, and the other people come from the government. So the government can come in and take money from the Federal Reserve, and if you know how to work the government, you can get a hold of that money. And when they hack it, it's damaging. What we have is we have data, which is money, entering into our market, and it's causing people to make the wrong decisions because we make decisions on money. Money commands us and tells us what to do. When we wake up in the morning, we've got to decide where to go to work, and we go to the job that pays the most. And without money, our whole civilization would collapse. But if we have good money, then we can be much more prosperous. We can be much more free. We can make better decisions, and everything about our lives can be better. And so money is a big deal, and everybody should be very concerned about it because we all need it in order to survive.
Sean, I have to tell you, it's been a very interesting conversation with you here today. If we have someone out there today that would like to learn more about CloudCoin or be able to get a copy of your book, how can they go about doing that?
So they can certainly go to cloudcoin.global, and we have links to the book, links to how to buy it. We have explanations all about it. We'll also have a link to the digitalfrontiernews.com offer on how you can get some free cloud coins. Try it out.
Very good. I want to take a moment now to thank you for spending some time with me here today. We've appreciated hearing from you.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
That's Sean H. Worthington joining me here this afternoon. His book, Beyond Bitcoin, The Future of Digital Currency. Keep it tuned right here to Yankton's home team, AM 1450 KYNT. We'll be right back after this.